If you're thinking about building an off-grid cabin, or anything off-grid for that matter, you definitely want to watch today's video. I'm going to be going through an absolute horror story that I was dealing with for the better part of almost all of last year. So, with that being said, let's jump into it. One quick thing, guys, since I'm being a bit open here, kind of putting myself out there and telling you guys an absolute horror story that I had to deal with, if you could be so kind as to just double tap and hit that like button for me. Actually, don't double tap it, because if you do, then the like will go away. So just hit the like button one time for me, as I absolutely spilled my guts to you guys and tell you about how I got absolutely screwed last year building my off-grid cabin. So I'm certain you all have already seen my cabin build video. If you haven't, check the link in the description. But I built the cabin in about 7 days. I also did a follow-up video where I showed you guys what it looked like finished. In that video, I point out something major, which is the back window of my cabin is a bit defective. The windows that come with the cabin are absolutely stunning Pella windows. They're triangular, which makes them a little bit harder to source and fix, and we're gonna get into that. The windows are also awesome because they're double pane windows, and what that means is there's 2 pieces of glass with an air bubble in between. What that air bubble does is it kind of stops the temperatures from outside creeping in. So it's much better for insulation. That air bubble essentially kind of traps the air in between, so it kind of doesn't affect the inside as much. Now, that higher quality window is essentially what kind of screwed me over. The way that the cabin kit goes is you purchase everything via Den Outdoors. They source everything and send it to you. All of the wood and doors, etc., windows are all sent to you. Most of the items are received at one time via Den Outdoors. It was extremely seamless and straightforward. I received the windows after the fact via Pella. They're special ordered. I'm not sure if they are cut specifically for this Den Outdoors cabin or if the cabin is built around the specification of these windows, but essentially you get the windows via Pella. And I was super stoked about this because Pella is a very well-known name brand in the window building community. I know that sounds crazy, but there's a window building world out there, and Pella is like the Mercedes-Benz of it. So I was super psyched to know that I'd be getting a Pella window. What happened was the window seal was broken. So after installing it, I was noticing that there was a draft coming in of air that I could feel from outside, which shouldn't be happening in expensive and high quality windows like this. And on top of that, I started noticing that water was starting to come inside. So the seal was broken, so on rainy days, water would pool up in that middle portion of the window where the air bubble should be. And it was pooling up and essentially starting to leak inside of my cabin, which is absolutely no bueno. At first, I was worried, but then I realized that Pella gives you an amazing warranty. So this should be super simple. Call Pella, they'll fix it, it's all gonna be great. After I gave them a call, it almost seemed like it all was gonna be fine. They were gonna send out somebody immediately, about 30 days, but I mean, in the world that we live in today, that's not too bad. They were gonna send somebody out to replace the window and all would be well. Little did I know that that would start the nightmare experience I had with Pella. I'm gonna dive into this story. I wanna first remind everybody that Den Outdoors did not screw up. They sent me everything that they were supposed to send me, and they coordinated with Pella to send me these amazing windows. The issue is on the fact that the windows that I received via Pella were defective. On top of that, that issue was exacerbated by the fact that Pella's customer support was so bad. It was just so bad. I really didn't want to have to make this video, but I just have to be honest. The guys who came and that were actually doing the work on site, they were awesome. We actually became friends because they had to come back so many times. The overarching reason that this was so difficult though is because I decided to build off the grid, which gave me a ton more problems than I would have had if I would have built just on a regular house or something along those lines. Let's dive into it. The first failed attempt was July 19th. I had finished building the cabin about a month or so prior, but that was the earliest that they would be able to source a brand new window. I was gonna get a brand new window, so I was super stoked to get a brand new window, as well as send out 2 technicians to install the window. So prior to them coming, prior to July 19th, I was emailing customer support. Little did I know, and I would learn this terribly later, that customer support and the technicians that actually arrived to install the window, They don't communicate, if at all. I don't know whose fault or why, but whatever. So essentially, I was wasting my time emailing customer support. So I sent them a ton of photos as they asked. I sent photos of the cabin up close. I sent photos of the windows. I sent photos of the exact issues of the water pooling up. And I sent photos of the cabin from the street level, so that way they could be aware of how far back the actual cabin is. Well, the day arrived, July 19th, and that was the first failed attempt. They pulled up, they let me know that they were unaware of how far back the cabin was, and without a proper walkway or without a proper way for them to drive up there, they said that the window, I think it weighed about 800 pounds, so the two technicians weren't going to be able to walk it up. So what they let me know is that the next time that they would come, they would reschedule and they would need my help, and I would need certain things to assist them in delivering the cabin. At that point, I said, you know what? Maybe the communication wasn't that great. Maybe I could have let them know that it was an off-grid cabin. This wouldn't be a simple installation. So I was absolutely cool with it. And I thought that it was, not anybody's fault. We'll get them next time. So they scheduled a date. And that leads us to the second failed attempt. The second failed attempt, and what I believe to be the worst out of all of the failed attempts, yeah guys, there's a couple of them, happened on August 30th. So after the first failed attempt, they let me know that I would need a couple of things to assist them in installing the window. And at the time, I was like, you know what? I completely understand. This is an off-grid situation. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for them. What I would need is a pickup truck, as well as 3 people to help us maneuver the window. So the pickup truck was going to do most of the heavy lifting. We would just need to get the window off of the van or off of the truck that they were delivering it on, put it on the back of the pickup truck, drive it up to the cabin, then we would grab it by hand and pull it down, and they would install it in. There was only a couple of issues. A, I don't have a pickup truck. I drive a Mini Cooper. Very big difference. The other issue is the cabin is about 2 to 3 hours away from where I personally live. So this would be another trip of me driving up to try to finish this cabin as well as the window. The only issue is that I don't have any friends up by where the cabin is either. So I literally had to get a hotel for a couple of guys to help me out and install this window and help me install the window. So that's exactly what I did. I got a hotel for some people to spend the night and to wake up the next morning to help me install the window. I also went to my local big box store and rented a Ford F-150 to get the job done. All in all, this was pretty expensive, but I said, hey, this is just what it takes to get the job done. I need to finish this cabin. It's an off-grid build. I knew it would be a little bit more difficult than something that was a bit easier. They were supposed to arrive at about 10 a.m. And at around 2 p.m. is when I sent them an email and just said, WTF, where are you guys? That's right, they just left me hanging. No call, no show. No one from Pella arrived that day. No one from Pella reached out to me. Absolutely nothing. Radio silence. So to recap on the second failed attempt, I spent a ton of money and a ton of time preparing, and Pella literally didn't show up on me. They sent me an email after I reached out to them saying, sorry, one of their guys had to call out that day. They were understaffed, so they didn't send anything or didn't do anything. They also didn't tell me any of this. I was absolutely screwed. And that leads us to our third failed attempt. The third failed attempt happened on October 4th. And I was absolutely certain that this failed attempt, third time's the charm, right? Third luck's the third time. It's the third time, guys. Finish this. I think I'm honestly getting a little bit mad and annoyed just remembering all of this. So on October 4th, they were supposed to deliver the window. They were also supposed to bring their own pickup truck or bring more people to help them carry up the window. The reason being is I was emailing customer support. And there's where we get back to that, emailing customer support. I was emailing customer support and I just let them know, look, I wasted a ton of time and money, and not just my time, but other individuals' time. So I can't rent or do anything. I'm not going to assist you guys. And I want to let you know that now. So that way you guys, at this point, I felt as though the onus of figuring all of this out lied on them. I did everything I possibly could to make the second failed attempt the last attempt and it just didn't happen. So on this time I said, you guys, you need to figure everything out. I'm letting you know ample time. I sent them another email just saying, to clarify, I will not have a car there. I will not have people to assist you. You guys need to figure it all out. Customer support said, yes, we completely understand. We'll send more technicians. We'll get the job done. Well, the actual technicians that arrived, they weren't aware of any of this. They pulled up and were looking at me like, bro, what's going on? We told you we need a truck. I was absolutely furious. I was just livid. The reason being is this is about the third time I drove 3 hours up, 3 hours down. Like I'm just wasting a ton of my time and my money trying to get my project done while Pella is basically being a bit incompetent. I don't know. Maybe it's on me. You guys let me know down in the comments if I'm bugging or if it was Pella. But at this point, I just figured Pella is being a bit incompetent with their communication and the customer support, and they're kind of just screwing me. The technicians on site, though, they were really cool guys. I really got to know them pretty well. Even one of them got a haircut. I noticed it from the first time to like the fourth time. I was like, hey, you got a new haircut. It looks nice. Just because they had arrived at my cabin so many times. At this point, I was furious. I mean, between you and me, this is a family channel. I was at home cursing, just absolutely pissed off. This cabin is a dream of mine, and they were kind of making it extremely difficult for me. They didn't try to rectify the situation by trying to pay for the pickup truck that I had to rent or the hotels or gas or any of that nature. What they did do is go into the fourth attempt. The fourth attempt is the successful attempt, so let's dive into that. On November 22nd, we had the final attempt and the first successful attempt at installing the window. Pella let me know that the only thing that they could do for me is one of the technicians, who actually was a really I'm telling you, it's so weird. They turned into friends. I'm never going to talk to them ever again, but when they came, they were super nice every time. So the way that Pella rectified the situation, or at least got the job done, is one of the technicians, one of the guys that would always come, he'd offered to bring his pickup truck. So he came with his pickup truck, and we pulled the window off of the truck and put it on his pickup truck. It was super helpful for me because I didn't have to rent a new pickup truck. It was extremely frustrating just because of the situation I was in, but I was super happy to get it done. On screen, you can see some of the videos of us installing it. They also let me know that I would need to have some people on hand no matter what. They said, you know, we can send over the pickup truck, but you're going to need extra hands. I literally had to go on Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups, and I just found some neighbors. Luckily for me, I was able to find some neighbors. They were super nice. It allowed me to meet new people in my area, and they assisted me in installing the window. Once we actually got the window up where it needed to be, not having shore power, because I used only solar power on my cabin, that wasn't an issue at all. Once we got the window up there, they were able to install it easy peasy. Again, the technicians that came on site, they were phenomenal. I mean, they were really beasts. Like they really did their jobs. They were awesome on site. They were clean. They didn't leave my cabin all messed up like a lot of people do sometimes when you get outside help. Like they were absolutely phenomenal. I wish I could give them 5 stars. The same goes for Den Outdoors. As I was going through the process of ordering my cabin and getting it delivered, everything happened super seamlessly, so I was happy with that. And also, I'm not even that mad at Pella for sending me a defective window. These things happen. You know, I completely understand. It's the customer support, and I don't want to say the word incompetence because I feel like that's like a mean thing to say. But it's the customer support and the lack of communication, the lack that the communication was able to flow from customer support maybe to those technicians. That's what really killed me. And that's what made this go on much longer than it did. In all, from the first failed attempt to the fourth attempt, which was the first successful attempt, it was 126 days. I was dealing with this issue for 126 days. Water from outside was able to leak inside of my cabin for 126 days. Air that was passing in and out, able to happen for 126 days. It was absolutely terrible. As you can see, it wasn't an easy task. It was much harder than it had to be because my cabin was off grid, as well as Pella was kind of screwing me. This is a quick update on my cabin. I will be doing a 6-month update on like how I actually feel about the cabin as a whole. That's coming in a month or so. Please do subscribe to the channel to get more info on my Den Outdoors cabin kit, my opinions on A-frames, advice on buying land, as well as everything that has to do with glamping and tiny real estate. Thanks for checking into the video, and remember to keep it tiny. Peace.